Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you're watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yes, I did miss you on last week because of my scheduling kind of just conflicted and would have threw everything else off scheduled if I did have to review this show. But I'm back this week to kind of recap a little bit of what happened last week, and then we can go on into next week. There was only a couple of things I wanted to point out that I thought was very interesting. Again, I'm just trying to really figure out Crystal because Crystal just doesn't do anything on the show. It's your birthday, but you are nowhere near the subject. Not for real. We just know it's your birthday. Like, why are you here? Why? Why? Come on. Even in this episode that just happened, I'm like, what the crap is going on? But before I go any further, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you are new. Welcome. If you are returning, thank you and welcome back. Please like this video, share this video also, and leave all your comments on the episode and even my commentary. But anyways, Crystal, no. There was a couple things that did happen with Erica. She was showing her little bad side that I can't say that I mind. The ladies were in the elevator, and they ran into some of the Magic Mike people. And of course, Sutton does know some of the Magic Mike folks. So at that point, Erica took it upon herself to say, hey, Sutton didn't really like your show, da 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 da. That ended up embarrassing Sutton. So Sutton ended up feeling very bad and wanted to confront Erica. You know, Erica was in this place, you know, I'm still giving up arguing for land, but I conversed with God, and God told me to go on and let this out. I mean, it is, you got to be some messiness. You have to be messy as a housewife at some point. You know, it's the ones that act like they aren't messy that get on my nerves, and you know you are messy. So, Sutton's having another fit. And now it's so unfair. You should not have done that. It's like, no, she shouldn't have done that. But I think it would be great if you were just truthful in how you feel, or at least felt, Sutton, during that time. And it's still, everything is mounting up that you did not get a chance to go on stage. Even though it wasn't even your weekend, man. It was Crystal's weekend, or whatever. It was Crystal's night. Of course, Erica was going to go up there because they were familiar with her. You didn't even stay around, but Kyle got picked. You might have gotten picked. But then she started crying because people were pushing back on her. And that's what happens. There's a lot of white women tears. So at the same time, Garcelle was getting into it with some of the others, specifically Dorit, because somehow they were trying to, as Garcelle was defending Sutton, Dorit was like, well, even though you were back there trying to console her, did you actually bring her down from a level 10 to 2? Like, Garcelle was like, well, I wish I wasn't the only one back there helping. Why did you guys run after her? Blah, 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 blah. So it's one of those deals of Garcelle and Dorit are fighting, but it's really something else that's going on between those two. I think we start to get into it in this next episode. But again, she was like, enough. I don't want this. And the last part I'll talk about is with, after they got left Las Vegas, they went back home to Beverly Hills. Kyle and Sutton wanted to sit down, or have a sit down. Kyle comes to Sutton's home and gets her whatever drink that she wants, and Kyle gets into the whole situation. I guess there was this pact that Sutton and Kyle were supposed to have, where Kyle was supposed to have Sutton's back, and we have this flashback, and Kyle was agreeing to it. We kind of get into it this episode, but it's like Kyle's really not showing any type of alliance. Let me just say this, boys. Sutton, Kyle is not your friend. Sutton, you're trying to people please to get up on this show and in this friend group. The original Fox 5 are still what it is on the show, unfortunately. And you're not going to be made popular within this group. So quit it. So go be friends with Kathy and leave it alone. Because Kyle is always going to use you as a pawn in what she's trying to accomplish as being the force multiplier and make you look stupid. So Kyle goes into, you know, I didn't know if you were really okay because you were just having all of these fits, and you have done it in the past. It's something like, I'm calm. I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, Sutton, you still got to accept your part in some of this stuff. If you do that, you'll be 120% in my book. You're still there in a high percentage, but Sutton, don't do that. I do root for you, but you got to take some responsibility. So Sutton and Kyle, which is the only iconic thing thus far that has happened, or at least a memorable thing, Kyle's like, well, you're always, what's the word? I don't want to say that, freaking out. And Kyle said, and Sutton says, name them. Name them. Name them. Hold on. Is everything all right with you? Like, they're trying to make her seem like she's crazy. I do think that she's got that white woman tendency to, when you're not getting your way, that you do have fits. I do think that that's on you, Sutton. I got to be truthful. And it's okay to a certain extent. We've seen it since season 10. It's just the group decided to pick on you and bully you, and nobody was really concentrating this part or this side about you. And now we're getting back to that because the other ones aren't being mean. So, of course, after a while, it sounds like, name them. Jeez. She starts going through these flashbacks of the one time Crystal was calling her out because they were still trying to say that word. What was the word? It was like a predator word. And Sutton didn't like that, and she did not want to be labeled as that. And I remember that part, and then Crystal kicked her out of her party or whatever and said about the ugly leather pants. Another point was somewhere. The following year, I think. Oh, when all of a sudden Crystal wanted to say basically that she was a racist or problematic. But still, Sutton's like, name them. So we're going to jump forward now to this episode because it's still to be continued. Again, Kyle's like, what's going on with you? Blah, 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 blah. And then Sutton said, what's going on with you? And then we get in the confessional of Sutton saying, Kyle's like a fortress. She doesn't ever say anything about herself. Well, let's go on with that. And then after Sutton was saying that, then Kyle was like, bring it on, babe. I'll answer anything. And then Sutton says, I'm not bringing it, Kyle. So to me, I felt like Sutton was cowering down because for whatever reason, she didn't want to seem a certain way. But you did call her to the floor to say something, Sutton, and then you kind of just backed down. But Kyle said, let me get up out of here. For some reason, she's all emotional and crazy, which not really emotional and crazy. All of a sudden, she had to just get out of here because now she's upset. Sutton also thinks that Kyle does not like that Sutton is still friends with Kathy and wanted her to choose a side. Who knows? Anyways, we move on to mom. Erica and her mom, Renee, comes to visit. Renee is 70 and Erica is 52. So that means that she had her when she was 22. Erica was saying, we're close in age and we just kind of have friction. Mostly they can really be around each other for 24 hours. And then after that time is up and you need to go. And I can just skip down and do her whole segment. But it's like Erica says that she knows that her mother gets on her nerves, even though Erica's mom won't tell Erica that she gets on her nerves. She knows that Erica gets under her mom's skin too. While staying there, dishes weren't done, and Erica's like, "What's up? What's going on?" And she was like, "Oh, I forgot who the person is, but the helper was going to wash these dishes." She said, "Oh no, I can't afford that. He only comes once a week." I said, "Wow, that is interesting." With Erica, I'm glad that she has a different attitude, at least this season, about everything that she may be losing, because it's still has to be a hard fall to now have everything that's been in your possession be out of your life like that. Like, I don't know. Like I said, right now, Erica's still cool with me this season, and we'll just have to take it episode by episode with her, but still 10 out of 10 right now, Erica. But they really hadn't really talked for a while. She says that they fell out a year prior because the mom was asking her a question about Tom. And basically she just said, no, we're not doing that, And either of the or, because they're both debating on who actually said it or did it, hung up on each other. And then 1 minute, and then all of a sudden, the mom came to her Broadway show. Remember, she was in Chicago after season 10, or during season 10, she was practicing and all that. And then I think that's when the pandemic happened and the shutdown, and they hardly had any shows. And she was just, when the mom showed up, she was just kind of greeting everyone and acting like nothing had happened. And Erica's been so skeptic. So they have a flighty type of relationship. Whatever. We're gonna move on to Garcelle. Garcelle and Jade, they are hanging out together. Jade is the one that's more closer to the mom, and Jax is the one that's kind of more independent. Uh, um, Garcelle says, Jade doesn't challenge her as much as Jax does. Um, they start talking about the conversation that happened between him and his brother the other day, and Jade said, or Garcelle asked Jade, do you want more freedom like your brother? And then Garcelle said, well, you don't even go outside. And basically, it was a no. But he did ask, can his girlfriend spend the night? I said, wait. I think they're 15. Wait. Jade, what you got going on with this girl? But she's a cute girl. But Garcelle said, no, that's not helping, blah, 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 blah. They get into the movie that Garcelle is an executive producer. And Mr. Delmar Washington is the director of Girl Missing. And just saying how they're looking forward to the movie premiere screening that they're having. I think it's going to be on Lifetime, or it was on Lifetime. Then we move on to this scene. Crystal and Rob. Rob traveled to China, and while he was there, they have another home in China. And while they were there, Rob linked up with Crystal's brother, Jeff. Jeff is, for the first time, has went back to China since he broke things off with his ex-fiance. And he was struggling in regards to that. He was very emotional and all that good stuff. Crystal says that Jeff and Rob have a tight relationship, and that's cool. Crystal goes on about Jeff. I think we did said everything that we were supposed to say. We were worried about him during the pandemic, and and that's just it. It's kind of like, in a way, whatever was going on between Jeff and his soon-to-be wife at the time. Somehow Rob said, while Crystal's talking, it seems like you're competitive with Jeff. And Crystal's like, I don't know. So they end up calling Jeff, and when he picks up, he's in tears. I don't understand that. Just to let you know, like, okay, Crystal. Or okay, Jeff. But my whole thing is, the only scene that Crystal had, well, she does have another scene, but it's not her. The only thing that Rob and Crystal can talk about is the brother. Crystal has nothing going on in her life. And since the start of since she started on the show, nothing. She's either race baiting. She did talk about her eating disorder, but that is because the others brought it up because of what she put on Instagram as a post. She only gave her input on what happened with Kathy. Nothing. And then reunion. Oh, I think Kyle is the one that brought up the stuff that went on with her friends. There's nothing that Crystal is bringing herself. And yet a lot of you on social media are calling her queen and mother. We must protect her. For what? And because she had one snappy moment with Kyle, you think that she needs to stay. She's done nothing. This is her third year. She's done nothing. Again, she was sitting in the shadows during her birthday. And now she gets back and talking about her brother solely. There's nothing going on in her life. I guess things are going to heat up when the other lady comes on. Her name is Anne Marie next week. So we got to see what's really going on, because this is very odd, and I don't know why that they continue to move on with her as a housewife. Sorry. All right, so we move on to Sutton. Sutton has brought along her friend Jen Tilly. They go visit her horse that she just bought, a Santos. They do a little horseback riding. She talks about her life beforehand. Her dad is from Texas, and he would take her horseback riding. And then she talked about her time with her mom, that they would have a snap peas, or she would pick a snap peas out the garden or whatever. Basically, she was just saying how Southern she really is. After they get done with the horse, they're taking different pictures. We're finding out that Sutton is being more social media savvy, or at least doing things to connect with people to get more business in her store and all that good stuff. So they sit down, her and Jen Tilly, and they talk about Kyle. I don't know what's really going on. Then she lists some of the things that she knows about Kyle. She's exercising excessively. We don't see her with the wedding band. We see this, da-da-da-da. She's not doing this. She's not drinking nothing, blah, 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 blah. And Jen said, maybe she's trying to gain control of an aspect of her life. Because I think Sutton was like, well, maybe she's going through a midlife crisis. This is when people do something drastic like that. It's something that she had not had control that she's trying to get control of, which is interesting. I mean, she just went through a traumatic experience with her sister. We've seen how she broke down the way that she was. Don't know if the acting skills were on or not, but at least we saw that this terrified little girl came out of big, masterful, or Kathy Hilton. So we don't really know what really triggered Kyle that much. All we know is Kyle didn't want the family to break up, but Kathy still hadn't been talking to her. I think that there were some updated pictures of Kathy coming to an event. I think to like an engagement party for one of Kyle's girls. I think, not for sure. So maybe she doesn't really want to go back to that place anymore and just taking control of that, because it's a type of what I want to call it, intimidation and bullying that Kyle was experiencing from Kathy. But I do want to make this point about Gentili. How come Gentili seems to be the only person that understands Sutton? If Sutton had the same type of conversation with the others, they all, what's going on? Like, and you know that Gentili is her real friend in real life. So it's like, so all y'all just don't understand her at all? I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, so Kyle and Dorit, this is the next scene. They do this FaceTime thing where they're catching up with one another and need to gossip. And Sutton and Garcelle are doing the same thing. Kyle's telling Dorit that she believes that Sutton is saying that Erica set up the whole elevator thing and she's doing this dramatic scene. Da, 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 da. I mean, that's what she says. So I don't get... Okay, Kyle. Like, what? You were blowing something out of proportion. Kyle also admits that she knows Sutton's wording, that she really wanted to talk about the rumors. And then she admits that she had to get up out of there really quick. What are you running for? Kyle Denise Richards? Bravo, effing bravo. I mean, just a few seasons ago, we need to be open and honest with your banks, remember? So now you're trying to get up out of there with one of your least intimidating opponents? Like, you should be able to handle Sutton, but you're used to being the puppeteer towards Sutton. And now she has flipped the script on you, girl. And you run trembling in the rain. That's something interesting. Keep your eye on that one. On that good sis. All right, so, of course, Sutton told Garcelle about how Kyle was acting, and da-da-da-da. So the next scene, this is basically Garcelle's movie screening. Dorit is riding with Sutton. They have a car, and before Sutton comes out, she's taking a bunch of pictures with her, I want to call him creative director. I'm just saying it. That's not what she called him. So she's glamming and taking pictures, and she's late. And Dorit is upset. But then Sutton is being you right now. Now, this season, it just doesn't seem like you're into any glam or anything, which is interesting to see out of you. However, she's you. You'll take a whole half a day just to do what Sutton has done. So anyway, Sutton finally gets in the car. Dorit kind of scolds her concerning being late. Sutton doesn't apologize, which is interesting for how mannerable and etiquette-wise she usually is. So anyways, they get in the car. They're driving, and they're just asking, what's going on with this movie screening. Dorit thinks it's going to be intimate. And Sutton said, no, I think she said 100 or 200 people are going to be there. And then at that moment, Dorit started panicking. She said if she knew that it was going to be this much, she could have prepared herself. But she has anxiety attacks of being around crowded rooms. Sometimes I root for Dorit, and then other times I'm like, what are you doing? Because now you're using this and not even having any intelligence with your so-called PTSD that you are crutching on. That's the type of stuff that is very weird, and that's when I go into my head like, are you just making stuff up? Are you just lying? Because it's not adding up. I want to know how Dorit was during BravoCon. Miss, I can't be around large crowds. I guess because you knew beforehand that this was going to happen, you were able to prepare your mind. Well, prepare your mind in the car. That's all I can say. Prepare your mind. I don't know if you got to numb your rengekyo. I don't know if you got to do that, but that is stupid. That's all I can really say. All right, so Sutton and Garcelle, or Sutton and Dorit arrive, and Dorit is already feeling uncomfortable being around the crowds. Um, Garcelle takes a hold of her and all that, and she sees that she's uncomfortable. I guess she ends up getting herself together, but Dorit. All right, so before the whole movie screening starts, Jax is talking with like Crystal and someone else, and they were saying, I want to go speak with Erica, and Crystal ends up going with him, and he tells Erica that there are no hard feelings. Erica apologizes, and she says she also appreciates that from him. Jax goes and tells Garcelle what's going on, or what he did. He said, I'm really proud of you. In Garcelle's confessional, she says, I really wish Erica would have done that. I mean, first, because she's the adult. And what I have to say to Garcelle, that is totally unfair. You're telling Erica has to do all this stuff, but you did all this. You said that you don't trust the housewives around your child. Why would you think that she would go to your child? And then anybody could argue, well, she said, well, Erica could have came to her. But at the same time, there has been no system in place as far as what Garcelle says that she trusts. As far as when they asked her, what should we do to help you to trust them? She said, I don't know. I don't know. That's not fair, Garcelle. And I'm kind of believing what people are saying in regards to, it looks like you go through social media and hear the feedback of us. And then all of a sudden you want to push that back on to the person the next season or during a reunion, when that should have been your reaction up front. That's what it's looking like. Because one minute you're holding people hostage for something for over a year. And I'm totally okay if you were not over it, but you did forgive them, and now I'm still not over it. I don't trust you. And then I get you. I do really understand you, but from their perspective, it's not cool. It's not cool. I'm sorry. So Erica didn't have to do anything. And I haven't even liked Erica, but she had no choice. In regards to what your structure is at this moment, which is no structure, she didn't have to do a thing. Sorry. All right. So, of course, the movie has gone on and it's playing. And guess who shows up? Miss Bravo, effing Bravo. Miss Denise effing Richards. I'm glad to see her again. I know people want her back on the show. I did want her back on the show, but at the same time, she ran too much for me. Ran too much for me. I understand avoiding stuff, but you did it a little bit too much. So I'm on the fence about her actually being amongst the group as far as getting her diamond back, But she's back. So after the movie, Sutton and Kyle, they go and talk. And they're still trying to figure everything out, what's going on between us. Kyle felt like Sutton was being aggressive. And Sutton's like, no, I wasn't. I was being very calm. I mean, it wasn't aggressive. I don't say it was, but Sutton, you did put on the show a little bit. Kyle, like, you seem odd. You seem off. And that's what she was like, are you mad that I'm friends with Kathy? And Kyle said, no, I'm not. She says that it's like you're indifferent. Sutton starts calling out some of the things that she's noticing a change in her, like you're exercising very excessively. Da, 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 da. It kind of ended there with them. There's no real resolve at the moment because it'll be to be continued. Garcelle and Dorit, they're having their own conversation. Garcelle felt like when I was explaining myself is that you were very defensive and not really hearing me. And Dorit was like, in the whole relationship thing, we seem to move forward, then we go all back. Garcelle brought up how Dorit was treating her as her even expressing herself. It's been a year. Dorit ended up apologizing. I should have done that. I can't even say that Dorit was wrong. I don't go back. I mean, Dorit's apologizing, but I don't know if Dorit should have apologized. Is Dorit cowering down because of us Garcelle fans? That's a little bit odd. But they basically just want to move forward. You can tell that. I think that they're still in conversation about everything, but things are, I guess, looking hopeful in the conversation. So we shall see. And Crystal's in the crowd somewhere. All right, that's all I do have. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Again, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already. Share this video and also make your comments. Until the next one, peace.